Hey everyone, I hope that everyone is great and doing well. Welcome back to Coach L. I have missed you guys. It is time for us to chat, eh? It's been too long. Um, I know a lot of us have, or some of us, have had more free time on our hands with the lockdown. And then obviously there's the essential workers. I am still praying. I'm praying for everyone, the essential workers and all of us that are on lockdown. I hope that everyone's hanging in there. Anyhow, today I want to talk to you about a topic that is a little bit deep. It can be actually quite painful for some people. And that topic is, but I'll give you some comic relief too, because we're going to talk about how people are different, including me. I'm quite different, guys. And I've actually learned to accept that. But it's been a long, painful journey sometimes, but it's actually a good place to be now. So we're going to talk about that. Now, when you even hear the word rejection, it actually sort of makes me sad and this makes me feel a bit sick on my stomach. Rejection is not actually fun for anyone. Okay. I have to admit that most of my life, I have always felt like I was different. I didn't always feel like I was being rejected, to be honest with you. A lot of times I did feel accepted, but I did feel highly rejected by some. It seems as though I have that effect. When I walk into a place, you're either going to love me, okay, or you're going to hate me. And like when you hate me, like you like really hate me. So I'm seeing that my spirit, I guess you could say, irritates some people's demons. But I have to admit, I know that I'm quite different. But rejection can be quite painful. As a lot of you guys know, I grew up in the mountains of North Carolina, and I love that place. It's a beautiful, beautiful place with people that have really, really beautiful hearts. It was a beautiful community, and I think one reason why I am as grounded and down to earth as I am is because of where I grew up. I had some beautiful, beautiful examples of people around me, and I loved it. Was a small place, and if anybody had any issues, we would come together to support each other. I'll never forget, like at basketball games and stuff. Of course, the whole community would be there for the basketball games, and if somebody was going through a hard time, somebody would take their hat, their cap, and they would pass it around, and they would actually put money in the cap for a certain family that was going through a hard time. It was just that kind of a place. It was a beautiful, beautiful place. And to be honest with you, a part of me really misses that. But yeah, it is what it is. I do see that some in Africa also, but it was really inbred in my hometown. Um, I do feel like I was loved, and I'm still loved. Thank you guys, and accepted by a lot of the people in my hometown. But I always felt like I was different, and I think there was a part of me that knew that I was going to end up somewhere different, such as South Africa in the southern hemisphere. Um, so a lot of you guys know that I came to South Africa, and I came because I fell in love with a guy, and the guy happened to be a man of another race, as a lot of you know, which was considered a bit controversial from my background. But to be honest with you guys, I've never understood racism. Like even to this day, I don't understand racism because I just don't get it. Because we're all humans, and God made every single one of us, and we all have hearts, and we all bleed red. And I don't understand how we can dislike someone just because they have a better tan than us. So I just don't get it. And there's certain things in my life that I have never been willing to bend on. Okay, even if I have a ton of people around me saying, the opposite. If I truly believe in something, nobody's going to change my mind. So, racism is something that I've never ever understood. And so I came to South Africa, and I'm in this mixed marriage, and I ended up that look, they didn't play when I came here. Hey, they took me straight to Venda. For my people in America, that is, it's close to Zimbabwe. It's extremely hot, like really, really, really hot there, especially during summer, and the culture is thick. Okay. Now, I do understand where cultures, I have to admit that I don't always agree with the things that happen in the different cultures. But that doesn't mean that I don't like someone because they have a better tan than me. It just means that we have different cultures. So I never allowed that to, or made myself think that that is racism. But anyhow, so I come to South Africa and I go straight to Venda. I have a traditional African wedding in Venda. I wear the Venda attire, which is quite different than the white wedding in America. So yeah, I went, like, they didn't play with me, guys. I actually make a joke and I say that they actually just they didn't want to tell me that they didn't like me. They were just gonna make me die of like a heat stroke or even shock and just take me straight into the culture. But at least I have like really good stories to tell. And I think, at the time it was really hectic for me, but it helped me to adjust to South Africa because not much of anything really gets me bothered now. And the weird thing is I actually have found that I have spent so much time in the African culture that I sometimes am able to better associate sometimes with African people instead of other white Caucasian South African people. And it's been really sort of strange because as I've seen that sometimes I can relate more to the African people, I will sometimes see the white South African people looking at me in a way that they don't understand me. They don't understand who I am. And actually, some of them get highly, highly irritated with me. I'll never forget, I was in a class and I was speaking and I was teaching. And I'll never forget, on one side there were the African ladies, and then on the other side I had mainly the Caucasian ladies. And one of the African ladies looked at me and said, "Leslie, when you get excited, you even speak like you're an African." And because I always say yo and all this different stuff, and it's just something that's become a part of who I am. And I started noticing that certain people in the class, it was like they did not like that statement. They started looking at me differently, and I even had someone do something pretty ugly towards me after that. So my journey has been very, very interesting when it comes to racism, um, because I feel like I have experienced rejection from sometimes my own people, mainly because I'm not racist or I'm able to associate or get along with people of a different race. So it's actually been such an interesting and weird journey. But to be honest with you, I would never change. I would never change who I am. I am thankful. I'm so thankful that I don't judge others according to the color of their skin. I'm glad that I have lived enough to be able to embrace other people of other colors, of other cultures, of other races, of different diversity. I'm just glad that I'm able to do that. I think that I would be such a miserable person if I could not love all these different people that God has put on this earth. Um, so it has been sometimes shocking. I have to admit that it's been very shocking that people sometimes have not liked me because I was married to a black man or because I have colored children. And to be honest, guys, I've experienced it from white people where they don't like me. And I've also experienced it from some black people or African people, mainly though with your younger African ladies, um, like saying, "Oh, who does she think she is taking our men?" and da 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 da. And I'm just like, "Oh God, guys, can you really get over yourselves? This is like so ridiculous." But I've found in general the African women, especially the older generation, they're so respectful and so loving. I mean, you get your people here and there that are always going to be ugly, but it has been an interesting journey. I used to get really upset when people rejected me, and it's taken me a long time to be okay. But I recently had an experience where someone that I really looked up to, somebody that I looked at as a mentor, set me down and tore me apart and told me all the things that everybody had said about me that was bad. And, I actually didn't even try to defend myself. At a certain point, I did cry because I find it quite painful that people will even just do that to someone. But I know who I am. So I don't have to prove my worth or prove who I am to anyone. And if that's what they want to believe or whatever, then that's their choice. So I walked out. I had tears going down my face. But it was at that moment that I decided that I don't care anymore. And what I mean by that is I know who I am. I am okay with who I am. And I feel like God is okay with who I am. And I'll never change to fit into someone's box. I'm never gonna stop talking about God because if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be alive. There's certain values that I will never give up for anyone. And that's because I'm me and I'm gonna stay true to who I am. So it's been a long journey. It's been painful, but I'm finally where I need to be. And I hope and pray that everybody, I hope that you've already found that space. If you haven't, sometimes it takes a while to find that space. But at the end of the day, I used to never really understand what the words meant. I always thought it sounded nice. Stay true to who you are. Like, it sounds nice, but what does that mean? I finally now know what that means. Staying true to who you are means that you stay true to your values, even if other people don't believe in them, even if other people are going to reject you for them. You actually finally say, you know what? It's okay. Because I am who I am, you are who you are, and I'm okay with being in my own skin. So, guys, I hope that this makes sense to you. I pray that all of you find your own worth and your own comfortable in your own skin. And I just want to say thank you to those that do love and accept me for exactly who I am. Until next time, take care of yourself and take care of others. Peace.